Hey guys, welcome back to Sustrain Daily podcasts. Hope you're all doing well. We might not spend as much time in the kitchen as we do in the bathroom, but the kitchen is responsible for the most amount of waste produced at home. I can personally testify to this. Since I started composting, the waste disposed of at home has gone down by 60%. Can you believe it? So today, we are dedicating our episode to sustainable practices pertaining to the kitchen. This episode is going to be divided into 4 parts. Things to be considered while A. Buying, B. Storage, C. Cooking, and D. Cleaning and disposing. So let's start by talking about shopping. Number 1. Buying. This might sound ironic, but try to avoid buying as many ready-to-eat items as possible. To understand why, let's look at what goes behind the scenes every time we try to buy a packet of bread. First, the farmer sows and harvests wheat grains. They will then be sent to a flour mill where they will use heavy machinery to separate the wheat kernels, which will in turn be processed and churned. A manufacturer will purchase the flour and make bread using heavy industrial equipments. The bread will be sold at a bakery and then you will buy the bread. This is just an example to explain how much carbon is emitted in this entire process because of transportation from one step to another and because of the use of heavy machinery. Not to mention the plastic being used at different stages, especially the last one, where every loaf of bread is covered in individual single-use plastics. Now, I understand that if we start looking at everything we purchase from this lens, everything will make us feel guilty, and that nobody has the time to make everything at home. But you can strike a balance and start making things which we consume often and are relatively easy to make, like the bread. Anyway, the lockdown has given birth to a lot of bakers, evident being the 10,000 banana bread stories I've seen on my Instagram. Similarly, it's never too late to grow your own vegetables. There are plenty of videos on YouTube to help you with it. It has multiple benefits. 1. You know what is in your food. You won't have to consume any pesticides and harmful chemicals that they use to increase the shelf life of the produce. 2. Your food is going to be as fresh as it gets. 3. It's going to help you reduce your carbon footprint. 4. You're saving a lot of money. And 5. It's exciting. Some say that it works as a stress reliever for them and it's good for your body and your mental health. I understand growing your own food is not as simple as it sounds, and a lot of us don't have the time, space, or energy to do it. The second best thing that we can do is to shop from local vendors and farmers markets. The produce sold at farmers markets has been grown nearby, so it's relatively fresher and there's less behind the scene transportation. The produce is not wrapped in plastic and is sold as is. That is, it's sold loose. There are going to be fewer middlemen or middle people, and that allows for higher profits for the farmers. You can adopt meal planning as well. You can plan your meals for the coming week beforehand and only buy necessary perishables. My roommates and I used to follow this, and I cannot stress on how much time and energy we saved because of this. This also helped reduce our food wastage by a lot because everything was planned and nothing went to waste. As explained in the 3rd episode, other food items with naturally high shelf life like pulses and grains can be bought in bulk. Now, another thing that most of us consume on a daily basis is milk. I'm not asking you to quit it. That's a separate discussion on veganism for another day. I have an issue with the plastic packet the milk comes in. Those half-liter plastic packets of Amul or its regional spin-offs like Samul in Gujarat. Those packets are not good for the environment. especially when you tear the top portion of the packet entirely. Those minuscule pieces of plastics are not easy to recycle, and birds and fish end up eating that plastic. There was news of a dead whale which had 40 kgs of plastic in its stomach. Just as fruits and vegetables, try to buy milk from local vendors. Remember how milkmen used to go door to door and give fresh milk to people in their saucepan? Try going back to that. It's going to reduce your plastic consumption by a lot. If that seems difficult, try getting milk cartons. Or, as a last resort, if you continue to get your milk in plastic pouches, make sure you don't detach the plastic while making a snip at the top. You can reuse these pouches after washing and drying them as cones for icing, mehendi, etc. Or you can add these plastics in your own eco brick as explained in the 4th episode. Number 2. Storage. First in, first out, or popularly known as FIFO, is an asset management concept, which means whatever has been acquired first will also be sold, used, or disposed of first. Confused as to why I'm sharing this piece of information here? Well, because we don't live in a black and white world with clear boundaries and distinctions between concepts and practices. First in, first out is also practiced in the catering business or in hotels and cafes where they place fresh or newly bought items behind. The old produce that is close to its expiry sits in the front shelf of the fridge. This ensures that no food gets spoiled. I think this is a great idea that will help prevent wastage of produce, but more importantly, help you with one of the biggest questions: what should I cook? Another thing to keep in mind while storing perishables is to not wash them when you get them home. Wash them right before you cook or eat them. This helps increase the shelf life of the fruits and the vegetables. When you wash them, they become moist and are more susceptible to contracting bacteria, thus damaging the food. Stop using plastic bags in the fridge to store your food. Switch to reusable bags instead. At home, we use trays and baskets. Polythene bags are not only bad for the planet, but they also damage your food. Plastic clings to bacteria even after being washed, so the chances of food damage increases when using plastic to store food. You can also try storing fruits and vegetables separately to prevent vegetables from ripening too fast or getting damaged. Every fruit and vegetable requires a different storage condition to improve their shelf life. I won't get into the details, but I'm just going to link an article down below that helped me. Be sure to check it out. Try avoiding plastic as much as possible, whether it's plastic bags, containers, pouches, or bottles. Copper bottles are trending, and hence there are a lot of quirky designs available as well. As for cling films or plastic wraps, we barely use them at home. We use other steel plates as a lid to store something. There is another non-jugadu alternative as well. It's beeswax food wraps. These are easily available on Amazon, but currently the bees are in danger as well, and so you can purchase food wraps made from other vegan wax options such as soy. This is not as easily available. I couldn't find it on Amazon, but I've shared another link down below. Point number 3, cooking. Cook food right before your meal so you don't have to waste more energy to reheat the food before eating. This tip might seem insignificant, but we tend to eat 3 to 4 meals a day, out of which at least 2 meals are meant to be eaten hot. So that's 2 meals into 30 days, which is 60 meals per month, into an average of 3 minutes reheating time. That's 180 minutes, or an average of 3 hours of energy that you save per month. But I know that most of our schedules don't allow this amount of flexibility to us. So you can go the other way around and cook in bulk. You can cook extra gravy or a dish that lasts for 1 week. Reheating food in this case will use lesser energy than cooking an entire meal from scratch. It's also going to save you a lot of time. In the first episode, I'd mentioned OPOS, or one pot, one shot. It's this method of cooking where you use a single utensil to cook. So try to adopt OPOS. It's a very popular method, and hence there's going to be a lot of resources available for the same. You're one Google search away from becoming a pro at OPOS. So when it comes to juices and soups, I thought it was necessary to sieve it before consuming it. Turns out that's not true. You can drink a soup or juice as it is. It's nutritious and rich in fiber. On the offhand, it's also going to help reduce food waste. Talking about waste reduction, let's move on to point number 4, disposing and cleaning. As I always mention, composting is amazing. It's a great solution as it has immense impact. I don't think I need to elaborate a lot on this. And in case you've missed out, you can check out our IGTV on how you can start composting at home. I've shared the link down below. Don't peel your fruits. Well, unless it's a banana, or a pineapple, or a custard apple, or an orange, or a dragon fruit. Actually, wait, let me rephrase it. Eat edible peels instead of throwing them away, like that of an apple, kiwi, or chiku. They are packed with nutrients. If you're still unconvinced, you can give these peels away to street animals or you can feed it to your compost. But don't throw them away. You can also feed your leftovers to the street animals. There's always some or the other alternative when it comes to food waste. Food waste does not need to end up in landfills. To know more, you can check out the 4th episode where I discuss in depth about the different options available to dispose food waste. Okay, last point. Use natural soap bars, powders, cleaners, and scrubs to wash off your utensils instead of the chemical detergents. So that's it, guys. I hope you found a couple of points interesting and useful. Let me know other sustainable tips that you and your family practice and follow. Take care and stay safe. Goodbye.